What's up, YouTube? I'm Brett from Rants. As always, if y'all enjoy our content, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Alright, so today we're going to be giving a little bit of love to Disney's attempt to bring a little love to the Prequel Trilogy. I'm a huge fan of the Prequel Trilogy. I know a lot of older fans thought that it was garbage. But you know what? That's just a generational gap in a lot of ways. And I don't mean to sound ageist or whatever when I say that, but let's face it. We got Disney Plus here for my family. The shows that I thought that I was going to get my son into, the cartoons, Darkwing Duck, Tailspin, all these other little shows that are on Disney Plus. I was excited to get my son into it. He wasn't really having a lot of them. He likes Gumball and YouTube. I mean, you know, he enjoys those things. And it kind of really changed my perspective over you know, how much that generational gap really affects how you view specific things, you know. If you grew up in the 70s or 80s and you watched the originals and that's all you knew for 10 years, you were probably are going to think, well, these are the best that Star Wars had to offer. And you're probably going to overlook a lot of the flaws that are in it. Well, the same goes for, you know, my generation, you know, that grew up on the Prequel Trilogy as being the main movies. You know, I was like 11, I think, when that first movie came out. It was, I remember thinking it was an amazing movie. I mean, you had Darth Maul, for goodness sakes. I mean, Darth Maul was like one of the most underused characters of all time until the Clone Wars came about. Until that Clone Wars series came about, I mean, there was just a lot of great moments that could have been with Darth Maul that just wasn't in the Prequel Trilogy. But that's the thing. Prequel Trilogy has some really, really great characters. People forget that. They think, well, it's just the original characters that are one is timeless. But you think of Maul, Qui-Gon Jinn, you know, General Grievous, Count Dooku, Mace Windu, all of those characters are Prequel Trilogy characters. Those are great. Ewan McGregor's Obi-Wan Kenobi. I mean, you know, now Disney's going to be making a series that's got Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan Kenobi, and then they're coming out with the Ahsoka series. Ahsoka Tano is one of my favorite characters of all time. And you might can say, well, she wasn't in the prequels. She wasn't in the prequels, but she was in the Clone Wars, which was based off of the prequels. So, you know, without the prequels, you have no Ahsoka Tano. You have no Ewan McGregor's Obi-Wan Kenobi. You have no Darth Maul. I mean, and I would say that a lot of Star Wars fans moving forward would say that the Star Wars universe is better off for having those characters. So I'm excited that Disney is looking at these Prequel Trilogy and they're saying to themselves, you know what, there's something to work on there. There is a they're not pushing the sequel trilogy quite as much as what I thought they were going to do. I tell you before, in The Mandalorian Season 2, I really didn't have much hope for Star Wars. And I mean that. I was never going to be one of those Star Wars fans that would never accept you know, anything from Star Wars ever again that Disney put out. I wasn't one of those. I still was going to give Disney a fair shake. I thought the sequel trilogy was just utter garbage. It had bad stories. It had bad characters. It just was bad all the way around. To me, there's nothing salvageable about those movies. And again, that could be a generational gap. 10 years from now, we might be talking about, or my kids could be talking about how great the sequel trilogy is. So, I'm not going to just completely throw that out the window that might actually be the case, because that could very well be. I could be looking at it from that same perspective as what I was saying in the original. People that grew up watching the originals feel. So I mean, yes, I do think that is a possibility. But and another character that was brought in there, Jango Fett, and of course the story about Boba Fett, and of course you've seen it in the Mandalorian, just how much that played a role in the Mandalorian season 2. So I mean, there is some really, really amazing characters and a lot of lore. The Clone Wars lore that it put out there, the prequel trilogy lore that it put out there, is to me better than anything the original ever did. We got to see worlds and characters and different dark side users that really expanded upon the universe. It took worlds that we had seen in the expanded universe in the comics and brought it to life in a lot of ways. And so I was excited about the life after the prequel trilogies. After the prequel trilogies ended, and I think it was 2005. I wasn't so excited about the sequel trilogy. I really thought Disney was going to push it. I really thought Disney was going to just thought that was the hill that Disney was going to die on, was the sequel trilogy. Kathleen Kennedy and all of her little minions, and the directors, J.J. Abrams, and all of them, they really had this idea that Star Wars fans didn't like their characters because they were sexist or racist or something along those lines. But The Mandalorian Season 2 put all that to bed. And I felt like the Clone Wars put that to bed, because fans were excited to see Ahsoka Tano, Cara Dune, Bo-Katan. I mean, they were excited to see all of these main Star Wars characters that were female. They're excited about the shows that's going to be coming out about that. So they had to throw all of that sexism stuff out the window at that point, and they just had to, I think at that point, have to admit, Rey just wasn't a very likable character. She just wasn't. I mean, she just wasn't a good character. And I think that kind of maybe, and I'm just saying this is just my opinion, maybe that changed Kathleen Kennedy's mind a little bit. Not because she changed her mind on Star Wars fans, but because I feel like she felt like she just didn't have a leg to stand on at that point. I just feel like she thinks that at this point, okay, I can't call them this because now they have a huge fan base on YouTube of content creators that are getting the message out there, that are able to rebut a lot of her claims and point to specific characters in The Mandalorian and in the prequel trilogy that were female, that were of different races that fans really took to. Mace Windu's a good example too. And I feel like at that point the narrative just couldn't go the way she wanted it to. So now they're going to have to kind of pull back on that and really kind of go, you know what? The fans are kind of really excited about what we're doing with this prequel trilogy, expanding upon it with The Mandalorian and these newer shows. Let's go after that. And I think Disney Star Wars is going to benefit from that so much. Do I wish they would have left off some aspects of it? Midichlorians, that's just a collective eye roll when it comes to the midichlorians. No one really wanted that. Kanan, but of course it's Kanan now. But overall, I mean, besides that, I'm excited about it. I can live with the midichlorians, being Kanan. But what I could not live with with Star Wars was the sequel trilogy being the basis from which it is moved forward on. I always looked at the original trilogy is the foundation. The prequel is built upon it. Sequel trilogy trying to build their own little world. And I really thought it was going to be, they were going to throw out the original, throw out the prequel trilogy, and they were going to have the sequel trilogy as being the foundation that was going to build upon. But it looks like that's not the case, and I'm excited about that. But as always, guys, let me know what y'all think. Let me know if y'all are excited about Disney Star Wars now after Season 2 of The Mandalorian. I know I am. I'm one of those that I did not have one of those moments when Luke Skywalker, appeared and everybody was freaking out about the Mark Hamill making an appearance in CGI. I was not one of those fans, but I've even changed my mind on that to a certain extent. I see the love that fans have for Mark Hamill's Luke Skywalker. And even though I personally don't have that same love and affection towards Mark Hamill, I do towards Luke Skywalker. I do have love and affection towards Luke Skywalker. Just not Mark Hamill in general. I'd be fine if they replaced Mark Hamill and put in someone else as Luke Skywalker. It wouldn't bother me a bit. But I know a lot of fans disagree on that, and I understand that. But I thought that moment was so touching. And then when Pablo Hidalgo attacked Star Wars Theory over having love and affection for that, I think that just kind of brought the collective fan base, the ones that even had said they would never watch anything Star Wars again, and brought it back and was like, you know what? There's something special in Star Wars that we can't just let go. There's a great foundation and story, and we're not going to let these people and Lucasfilm and Kathleen Kennedy, we're not going to let them just take it and ruin it. I feel like now that has brought a lot of fans back, and now I feel like Star Wars now has a fan base that is now almost fully behind Disney going forward to push Disney into fixing this, fixing the problems that they really created, the fissures that they created with their bad storytelling and with their just bad attitudes. So that's the way I personally look at it. I'm more excited about Star Wars now than what I was a year ago. I really didn't know Star Wars was going to be anything after the sequel trilogy. I really didn't. But overall, guys, let me know what y'all think. Let me know if y'all are excited about Disney salvaging the best of the prequel trilogies. I know I am. I'm very excited about it. I cannot wait until Ewan McGregor's Obi-Wan Kenobi movie's out. Cannot wait until Ahsoka Tano's movie is out. Even the Book of Boba Fett. I'm excited about that. But alright, guys. Thanks for watching. Y'all take